Okay, now we are ready to add a script to the obstacle and update our car script so that as the car drives down the road, our score starts decreasing. So basically, the faster we get to the end, the higher our score will be. But then when we hit obstacles, we want to deduct points as well. So we'll subtract like 5 points every time we hit an obstacle. So let's start with the car script and update it first. So I'm going to double click on that. Up here above our start method inside of our class, I'm going to create a private, let's do an int, since we did int on the other ones, int score, and I'll set it equal to 100. Okay, so we've created an integer variable score, and we set it to 100. Now I need to create a public method to update that score. And what I want to do is create one that updates it when we hit an obstacle, so the obstacle can call this. So that's why it's going to be public, because the obstacle is actually going to be listening for the collisions, and then it'll call this function. So I'll call it penalty. So public void penalty. And I'm probably always going to subtract 5, but let's just go ahead and give it like an int p, so that maybe if we add other things to the game and build upon the game later, different obstacles could have different penalty amounts or something like that. Then all it needs to do is just subtract from the score. So score minus equals whatever that p penalty is that is sent. So we now have a public function that the obstacle is going to be able to call and subtract 5 points or 10 points, whatever you decide you want to subtract, each time it gets called. So that takes care of the car. Now let's go back to, well, let's save this, go back and make sure when it loads we don't have any errors. We shouldn't. Okay, looks good. Now let's create a script for our obstacle. So I'm going to right click, create C# script, and I'm going to call this one obstacle. Okay, once it is created, go ahead and double click on it to open it. And we are not going to need the start or update functions on this. So I'm going to delete those, but be careful not to delete the curly brackets for your class. Then the first thing I need to do inside the class is I need to connect the car script to this class, because it's going to need to call our penalty function that we just created, and it's going to need to know where that script is at. So I'm going to create a serialize field to be able to drag the location of the script in. So serialize field. Now the type of variable here is whatever the name of your script is. So if I run back here to Unity real quick and look, my script name is car and it's lowercase c, so that actually becomes a data type in Unity. UI Manager is a data type, obstacle is a data type. So the data type here is actually car, and then I'll call it like, this is my variable name, so it's going to be whatever you want it to be. I'll just call it car script. So if I go back now to Unity, I'll save that, go back, let it reload. And then I'm going to drag the obstacle script onto my obstacle prefab. And if I click on my prefab, I'll see that here is my car script location. I need to drag the script. But I can't actually drag the script. What I need to do is actually drag what it is that holds the script, and that's the car. But with the prefab selected, notice that when I try to drag my car script down here, it doesn't work. So what I need to do, instead of using the prefab, I need to use the actual obstacle itself that's in the scene, an instance of it. And so I can see I still have the same thing. So even though I only drug it to the prefab, it updated any obstacles in my scene. Now I can drag the car and drop it in here, and it works. So now my car script is connected to that obstacle script. So now let's go back and create a method inside that script that is going to subtract points every time I hit it. So this is going to be a private void on collision enter, and it started to finish it for me, so and it actually put 2 voids in when I did that. There we go. So on collision enter, O, C, and E are all capitalized, and then here collision's capitalized as well. This is the collision information, and it's being stored as other. Then what I'm going to do inside here is say if other dot. So in other words, whatever hit the obstacle, the other object, if that other object dot game object dot tag equals player with a capital P, then I want it to do something. So let's go look at this first and see what that's talking about. So the tag name player. Save this, go back, let it reload. Then I'm going to go find my car and come over here to the properties and look, and right here is tag. Now yours might still be untagged. This is the default. So if it's untagged, what you want to do is change the tag name of the car to player. So now it's going to look to see, is the name of that other object, our car, is its tag name player? If it is, I want to deduct points. The way I deduct points is I call my car script dot, and then the name of the function that we had created in that script, which was penalty, and then how many points I want to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 5. If you want to subtract a different number, you can, that's fine. So now car script.penalty 5 now refers back to my car script and finds that function, subtracts 5. Save it, reload the scene, and I should see that I have no compile errors. Okay, now if I run this, nothing's going to happen, but once we update then the car script, when it hits the obstacle is going to call the car script. Car script's going to run the penalty function. The penalty function, if we go back and open the car script again, the penalty function is going to subtract however many points from the score, which starts at 100, but then it's not actually going to update the text yet. So that's going to be the next video. Next thing we need to do is update our car script so it can talk to the UI manager and actually update the score that shows on the screen. So we'll do that next.